Hey y'all, how you perking? I hope you're perking good. So, here is a no makeup bee coming at you right now with this video. Alrighty, a lot of people are wondering about messages from spirit guides, messages from deceased loved ones, getting accurate messages and things like that. And what does that look like? And what does that look like with y'all and for y'all? So today we have something special. I've only done this a couple of times on the channel here. And so today, one of the lovely people that I have been able to do a private reading with has said that we can use the audio for her reading so that y'all can see what that's like, especially since a lot of people are considering using the Channelversary sale right now. When I say Channelversary sale, that means that right now, as I mentioned, it's 15% off all services on my website, BeasTalksAndTarot.com. And that's 15% off of any length of tarot reading. So whether you want just a 15-minute quickie reading, or a 30-minute or a 45-minute one, so we can really delve into that, like today's reading, those are all 15% off. 15% off of Reiki energy healing sessions as well. So it's up to you. You get to use code anniversary at checkout when you are booking one of those services, or if you are buying a gift certificate for a loved one for the Christmas holidays, for the holiday season, or if you're just wanting to get a gift certificate for yourself that you can redeem later at any time next year, then you can do that too. The gift cards, the code for that at checkout is Anniversary GC, standing for gift card, Anniversary GC. So check out that. All of that will be written in either the description box or the pinned comment below. And in addition to subscribing and tapping that notification bell, you can become a member of the Perk Squad for 5 extra perks, including weekly forecasts and video shout outs like this one. A shout out to you, Cheryl Burton. Shout out to you. Thank you for being a member of the Perk Squad. We're happy to have you. And thank you. Yeah, lots of things there on the Perk Squad. But yeah, about this video today, just wanting to show y'all an example here, for anybody that's wondering, and thank you to the person who let me use our audio for the session here, anonymously of course. I've taken out all video, and I have either clipped out all names or bleeped out all names to make this a de-identified session here. So just doing that out of respect. So anywho, I hope that this will be helpful. Sometimes people who listen to other readings getting inspired. Sometimes they take some of the messaging that they can use for their own lives. Sometimes it's really eye-opening to see the kinds of things that can come up in a private reading. So this is just an example for people who are interested in knowing and interested in hearing how these can go. So we are about to dive in here and check it out and see what you think. So what they're showing me here, they do start out with showing me the Chariot in reverse, about not kind of wanting to move forward in some sort of a way, having some sort of reticence, hesitancy, things of that nature. And right next to it, they're showing an internal tower. So it's not even the external stuff. It's not like, oh, there's all this external stuff going on. It is quite literally all the internal stuff going on. And they're showing this as a page of swords in reverse to say that this is kind of quote unquote cloudy thinking in their way of wording it, cloudy thinking. And I don't think they say that judgmentally, but they're just throwing it out there. And they're saying here with the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, they're saying that what you would be doing with that line of thinking is you'd kind of be repeating it over and over and over and perfecting that line of thinking, but it's not really necessarily working to get the end result that we want. So you're
mental, we call this mental masturbation. That's what we call this. Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
Perfect. I love that. I've never heard that before, and I love that.
Mental masturbation, we call that.
Well, perfect. That's exactly what we've got going on here.
Yeah.
And they're like, practice makes perfect. So if your practice is to in your mind go over and over all the reasons why this is scary, it's not going to work, could be problematic, yada yada yada, then we're making a mastery of that train of thought, and yet it's not making us any happier necessarily. So it kind of gives the sense here of we're getting really 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 prepared, but at what cost?
In an effort to control the situation. You think if I worry hard enough, that's almost as good as praying, right? So if I just turn it over and around in my brain, I will get control of this monster and it'll become a little kitten, a tame kitten.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, exactly. And the more I get prepared and have control over it, the less it will sting when it inevitably happens that
Yes.
what I've planned for comes to fruition.
Yeah.
And they're showing this as the Moon card in reverse, which is all about that deep inner gunk. And it makes sense because that gunk is what we all get gunk for whatever things, whatever topics, whatever things that comes up in our lives. But the good thing about this gunk is it is in the reverse position, which means it's a purging. So all the things that you have been going through lately, this to me means you have had to probably, since I've last talked to you, you've probably had to quote unquote face some of these things more directly than you have had to in the past. So what they're kind of giving me in my mind is like, if commitment is scary, then maybe you had to make decisions that committed married people would make those types of decisions together, and we have to make those types of decisions together. Oh shit, that's what committed married people do, but now I'm having to do that. Or it's like, oh, now we're having certain discussions or doing certain things that again feels like committed married people do that, and here it is coming up. Or other things happening where it's like, well, if we were married, that would make such and such a little bit easier or smoother as it relates to this, that, and the other. And they're queuing all of that up in my mind, like, oh, the pandemic is scary, and what if one of us got sick and we needed to be married for the other one to be kind of power of attorney taking care of things, and holy crap, that's scary. And like all these things they're showing me, like, with since I've spoken to you last, would have been kind of cropping up one by one by one by one as a means to poke holes in your mental masturbation and to help you with this purging of all of that gunk, that every time something comes up and you see a practical reason for getting married or an emotional reason for not fearing it or any of those things, it's poking holes in that loop that you had mastered so well. And this seems to be purposeful here. And I'll say that it's not like they're saying our vote is that you really need to get married, but their vote is that you don't have anything getting in your way of choosing one versus another. They don't want to have any gunk there that's stopping you from living in a fulfilling and happy way. And if this is dampering that, then they're like, hey, we want to help remove it, regardless of if you ever do decide to actually get married or not. So they are bringing that up there. They're also bringing up with the Ten of Wands, this is kind of like we've been together and we've done a lot together and we've experienced a lot together and we've carried heavy loads together. This is just a whole, like, we've shouldered life together. We are a team here, and by all accounts, people that would encounter us out and about probably would think we are married, kind of thing. And so they're showing like the substance being there, and they give y'all the Two of Cups upright. So, a beautiful card to get for a relationship that has a lot of good bones and good things to it internally. So, very good to see there. And just to piggyback on the thing they were saying earlier about like making medical decisions together and stuff like that, that card does have I don't know how you pronounce it, caduceus or something like that, the medical symbol there.
Emblem.
Yeah. And that kind of, in my mind, brings that up as well, that it's kind of like, we want to feel like we have that team that regardless of what we face, they're allowed to help support us, and they're allowed to help make decisions, and they're not kind of cast out as, oh, that's just a boyfriend or a friend or whatever. And so they're bringing this up, that there's kind of, this is multifaceted here in terms of things to consider. And then the last thing that they show here, this is kind of funny to me, but with the Six of Cups in reverse, this is like, if it was upright, this would be like the whole formal, beautiful, big wedding, blah, 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 blah. It's in reverse, and so they're like, you don't even have to go hard with it. You can go small and simple and easy peasy. It doesn't have to be a thing.
It would be so sneaky, because the first thing he said was, you mean like, first of all, he was gobsmacked when I brought it up, and he said, I'm trying to process this, because I had said never, ever, 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 ever. And then I said, I kind of made my case, all based on medical stuff, as you say.
Wow.
Because we've both been to the emergency room, and when they ask who the other person is, we always kind of hesitate, and then we say, my husband. Mm-hmm. I go, okay. Kind of roll their eyes, But first thing Garrett was, you mean like in a church with a white dress? And I said, no. I think we should go down to the town office, and then get the neighbor to marry us on the pond. But you'll love this story. I'll tell it really briefly. We met a couple that were in love in college, and he used to tutor her, and he would walk her home, and they would sit in the stairwell and talk for hours. 45 years later, he found her on Facebook. They dated, and then they went back to that tiny college and got married in that stairwell.
Wow.
Isn't that adorable?
That is.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, simple but small, and simple can be meaningful.
Yeah. So I thought, and well, we can't go back to my dad's church, because his dad was a preacher, and we met at church, and they're all gone. And I said, well, surely we have some. Either we have some special spots, or we can find a special spot. We'll see. Go, I don't know. I just thought I'd mention it so we can talk about it over the next 2 or 3 years. Yeah. Oh, my heart's beating fast just talking about it. All right. Enough.
I know. It can be anxiety producing, and that's fair, especially given what you've been through and stuff like that. I understand, totally understand. But yeah, they're showing all these things. So it's interesting that they are bringing up the things that are medical, since that connected with you. And it's interesting that they're mentioning, like, it doesn't have to be grand and big and whatever, because then that's something you're resonating and connecting with and have spoken about. So they are validating all of these things for you.
They're in my head. They've been in my head.
Yeah, they've been in your head, and they're using that to help to be like, okay, since you can trust that we've been in your head and we get it.
Yeah.
We get it. We're just trying to help you understand from these standpoints, and we're hoping that by you seeing that we get it, that you can trust a little bit, let a little bit of the guard down, kind of thing, and let us help you, that type of deal. So, and again, I don't see anything in here, like they brought up that Two of Cups. They could have brought up one of the cards that usually stands as my marriage card, and they haven't, because it looks like they're not trying to necessarily force the issue of being married. They're trying to help you release the resistance to it and the panic and anxiety around it, and then you get to decide what you want to decide from there. That way you don't feel pressured, because they know if they put pressure on you or light a flame, then automatically, no thank you, I'm not doing it.
Like, no way, get away from me, don't tell me what to do.
Exactly. So let's see. Given that this is what they've thrown out so far, I can either keep pulling and just kind of see where they take it from here, or if you have something that's kind of like, this makes me think of this, let's ask this, then I can go down that rabbit hole, whatever you feel like.
Well, I do want to ask about work and writing. I have several writing things I need to turn my head to, and different forms, plays, novels, whatever. I would just like to know if they have anything to say about how to help me get my work done. I'm having some discipline problems.
I understand that too. Mrs. I haven't put out a video since Tuesday, and it's Friday, and I didn't film one today. So,
sometimes it's just, life intervenes. It's like, hard to get stuff done when life keeps interrupting.
Yep. And it's busy around this time of year anyway, whether it's busy physically or just busy like emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, all the ways of just a lot of chatter and a lot of stuff.
Or just trying to get to the store and suddenly it takes 4 times as long, and who are all these people?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm not doing Christmas this year. Y'all just get out of my way. I didn't want real groceries. I'm not buying dried fruit. I'm not buying powdered sugar. I just want regular groceries.
Yeah. Lord. Oh man, spirit guides. You don't know what time of year it is and all this stuff, but what can we do in terms of getting some insights around this getting work done? Let's see what they have to say around this. Okay. Okay, so with this work that you are getting done, is there like a very specific timetable to this, or is it flexible?
Flexible.
Okay, that's
the problem.
Yeah.
Nothing bad will happen if I don't do it.
There we go.
Nobody's going to die if I don't get the work done, but I still need to get it done.
Yeah. So that makes sense here, because they are showing that literal like not getting the work done card here, but it feels flexible in that they give me the Emperor card in reverse. So it's like this isn't being super driven and the deadlines and the got to get it done and the this and this and that. And so I see that it is more on that flexible end. Now with that, they're actually giving you the 8 of Swords here, which is usually what I would get if somebody kind of feels, I don't know, stuck, trapped, some kind of a way with it, tied down some kind of a way. And so they're showing that as long as we kind of feel like it's an anchor that's just dragging behind us, that it takes all motivation and inspiration and out of it. It's like no longer interesting or fun to think about doing. And so that's what they're bringing up as being what they would consider the impediment here, so to speak. And so what they're giving me instead is the High Priestess card, which is a highly intuitive and creative type of card here. And they give the Two of Cups, which is also, again, a connection type of card. And so it's almost like they're saying the more you can ignite the part of you that is creative and playful and fun and all of that kind of stuff, whether it's relative to this or external to this, that there's something about kind of pulling that out of you that will put you in the mode of play, and that alone makes things feel a little bit more like, oh, I want to play with this, or I want to do something with that, because the juices are flowing.
Right.
Rather than I feel tied to this anchor.
Oh my God, I have to do this. Oh my God.
Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to get
do this.
Yeah, yeah. And then it's like no amount of, well, let me meditate so I can get a good mind space, or let me do this
Let
to
me
that.
write a pep talk. Let me put affirmations. Let me try
Yeah,
to justify my mind. But
it's
then, I mean, but that's really true because I tend to like beat myself up rather than saying, "Do you know how to do this? Just do it. This is what you do. This is your natural bent. This is remember when you get in it and you really enjoy it. And then I go, what's the matter with you? Are you nuts? Are you not writing anymore? God, you're a lazy galoot. What is the matter? And then it goes spiraling, and I know that's
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I start beating myself up.
Yeah, and so what they're showing here is they're kind of showing that if we kind of ignite what again, whether it's relative to this or relative to something else, but get the kind of creativity and fun and play and whatever thing going, then it will make it feel easier to kind of get into that vein. And like you just said, actually, that's kind of what I'm seeing here about then once you feel like, okay, I feel like I can just start because I've been in my creative mindset. It's making me feel a little inspired, a little bit interested. So let me just start because I'm just the tiniest bit interested. And then I see it kind of going from there. It's like once you get into that flow of abundance, that King Midas thing, then it's like, oh, what I touch it and it turns to gold, and then that boom gets me committed. And that Hierophant card is like, I'm driving home with that commitment. I am like just so into this. And so it's like you'll get into a zone, and before you know it, like you just have done a lot in a short amount of time. Like I almost envision you like sitting down to do this and then looking up and being like, wow, it's been 4 hours, maybe I ought to take a break and like pee and eat something first before
Right.
I'm doing this. So it's like I see you getting into that once you start, but it looks like instead of pressuring yourself to start because, oh my God, you just need to start, it's more like, fuck this, let me just play around and do something creative and whatever and fun that doesn't have anything to do with this. And now that I feel light and creative and exciting, let me just start,
Okay.
type something, start whatever, and then boom, get sucked in from there is kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's almost like ignoring it at first, but not ignoring it in the way of, it's not here, the elephant in the room. Let me try to watch TV instead, even if this is still on my mind and I can't relax to watch the TV because this is still in my mind. Like, not that kind of a thing.
Exactly. It's like, no, tear out your coloring book, color a couple of pictures, see where you go, and then go, well, let's just see. Let's just see what this thing I'm supposed to be working on looks like. And then
Yes,
for 5 minutes, I'm fine. But I don't know why I can't. Anyway, I should
yeah.
be. I thought the thing is, I thought I'd be better at this by now. I'm a much better writer, but I thought I'd be better at sitting down and doing the work
Mm.
rather than doing all the crap to make myself sit down because that's such bullshit and such a waste of time. But I'm
Well,
not.
it feels like it, but when they give me that High Priestess card again with that creativity, it feels like you quote unquote not being there, like, oh, I should be past this. It almost feels like just thinking that is a part of the quote unquote problem, because that's a shaming, blaming type of
Yep.
thought. And shaming, blaming thoughts are the nemesis of creative flow and play and lightheartedness. And so it's almost like you actually are what you want to be. You actually are that already, but you've kind of accidentally, again with that Eight of Swords, superimposed those self-defeating thoughts and stuff.
Yep.
And then all that energy is just to take that bit off to get back to what you already are already.
Right.
So it, to me, you are that you want. It's just a matter of kind of, I guess, undoing some stuff that's there. And those things are actually really typical, especially, and I've had a lot of sessions with people who are creative, and they get into that a lot because this world makes us focused on practical, get it done, do it, it's due yesterday, all that kind of stuff. This world makes us focus on everything that drains every ounce of creativity out of a person because of it doing that. And so it's quite typical. I don't see you as being like poor at this or bad or whatever or anything at all, although I can understand why you would feel that way. I know how that feels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. Well, I guess, what other angles in this do you think we should take a peek at, or is there something else that you're like, I just want to move on to a different question? We can do that too, whatever you like.
I want to know, how are you doing with medium work, connecting with people who have passed? I am sort of obsessively thinking about a couple of people who passed years ago, and like on my mind 24/7.
Wow.
And I go, are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell me? What are you trying? Why are you here?
Yeah. With that, I could definitely give it a go. I've had some practice with people, and I would say, like, of course, I don't consider myself a medium in that I can't see people physically and hear them in my ear necessarily physically, but I do tend to get messages through the cards that feel like, okay, yeah, we're picking up on this, it's working. And so there's only been a couple of times that I tried to connect that for whatever reason the connection was not happening, and we had to kind of just go to a different question. But the majority of the times it feels like I get something that comes through that can make sense and be helpful. So we can definitely try to tap in.
So we put on our playful, creative caps. Oh, this is good. This is fun. We're good. And then we sit down and we see what happens. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, we're just two girls having a sleepover, and
That's what we're doing. Just playing. We're just playing.
Yeah. Awesome.
Everything you said is right on target. I just have to, yeah.
Let's see here, spirit guides. Okay. And in terms of who you had in mind, because I try not to directly connect myself to something else just in case, but I ask my guides to connect. So who are we asking my guides to connect with?
Someone named or someone named John.
Okay. All right, spirit guides, y'all heard that. Y'all know who she's referring to when she says Bob. If you could get some sort of connection forward, please, that would be helpful. And if you could relay any messages to me, that would be helpful. Okay. Woo. Okay. Out of curiosity, and hopefully they're not trying to connect to whoever is the loudest voice in the room that's neither of those or something, but out of curiosity, out of either of them, is one of them like the type of person that would be like, I guess, so hardworking or into their career that they kind of didn't get a chance to like hang out much or talk much because they're just very into their work or something like that?
That would be.
Okay, because I'm seeing those kind of cards come up. Let me move my chair up. I feel like I'm sitting on the floor. Okay, here we go. Okay, because I'm getting that here about like being very connected to work, and feeling like then it's not, there's not a lot of relaxed time, to just hang out and be human and be friends and stuff like that, or it's just there's always a destination here kind of thing.
A lot of achievement. It was all about achieving things.
Gotcha.
Productivity and achievement.
Gotcha. Okay.
I thought I should just channel, help me sit down and finish this. He had no trouble saying, okay, I can't talk to you anymore, and just go in and closing the door and working. And I went, if you've ever helped me, you need to help me now. And you can fix the manuscript, okay? And I'll just be the channel. Let's do that.
Yeah, maybe so. That's interesting that then he would come up after that's kind of thematically what we just got done talking about. But what's interesting here is it seems that his messaging here has shifted a bit from then how he would have been at that time, because what I get here is this card about internal conflict and kind of like, you know, trying to fit it all in and trying to be it all and do it all and stuff like that. And I get this card here that's like kind of disappointment with that. And so it seems like he was aware of being that way, and it wasn't super fulfilling to be that way, but he couldn't not be himself in that way. And so it just was. And so what he's putting here, interestingly enough, is he's using the like when I crossed over type of thing, that everything kind of started new, and it's like a distancing from that type of thing, and he's actually using it as if it's emotional baggage. So it's almost like the overworking to him was like masking emotional baggage or something like that, some kind of way. Like if I dive into my work, then that makes the emotional stuff better some kind of way. Either that means I don't have to look at the emotional stuff, or maybe the emotional stuff was you're an absolute piece of shit unless you can achieve, unless you can do whatever. And so it was like a means to an end of I've got to do this because then that makes me feel better internally, but really that's just feeding whatever is in there that's emotional baggage. And so it's like he's saying that that's how he sees it now, is that way. And so not that he wouldn't be helping you with the manuscripts and stuff like that, but almost that he's kind of changing his tune about the all work and no play type of mentality, which fits in what we were just talking about when we were talking about play. We literally used that word earlier, and now it's coming up again here. And so it kind of seems like he's almost mimicking the types of themes we were just discussing here, which is very interesting. And maybe that's why he jumped in first. I don't know, but that's so far that's what I've got here. And of course we can dive in, you know, with any questions we want, or if we want to try to connect with the other person, we can, or, you know, whatever you think we need to do.
He was my first boyfriend, and we competed, and we were overachievers together, and I finally said, I cannot marry you. It will just be a power struggle forever.
Yeah.
So he married someone else who didn't challenge him at all, and he kept achieving, and, you know, had 3 daughters, and they're great pictures that they had. But
Yeah.
I kind of go, did you? I mean, it kind of proved my point. I couldn't be a stay-at-home mom to 3 daughters. I've got shit to do, you know. It's like,
Yeah.
but then he died pretty suddenly, or pancreatic cancer. So yeah, and too early, certainly. And I'm sure they were thinking, you know, as soon as we retire, then we can do everything we want to do. But he missed out on that, and I'm sure he has great regrets about that.
Yeah, and that one makes sense as why he's bringing up those things about the all work and no play, and kind of, you know, thinking of it differently now. Yeah, that makes sense. It seems like he does have a bit of a perspective shift on it from this point of view.
Yeah.
So, wow.
See if you can contact.
Okay.
And I always wonder what he would say if he could.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let me pull these up and put them back. All right, spirit guides. Well, spirit guides, please thank him for that. And if you can connect to John to provide anything. Okay, this one came out. This one came out. These 2 fell out. So upright or reverse on these 2 that fell out. Okay. It's interesting. After I shuffled like the entire time you were speaking, these 2 cards were also 2 cards that came up in his, and now they're coming up again for Josh. So that's interesting. But we'll move this over. Was Josh one of those people that like how do I put this? The visual I'm getting, and I know that this is probably a bad visual, but like the visual they're giving me is like back after Robin Williams died, and people were like, see, this is what depression really looks like. They're trying to be, you know, giving and loving and funny and stuff on the outside, but inside they've got a lot of gunk or something like that. Is there an aspect like that to John?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's the first thing that they're giving me here is that recollection that I had back when that happened, and it was such a sobering thing, and people were like, oh my God, you know, and people could connect with that, and so they gave me that again here. And the cards that they gave me, they're showing like literally right next to each other. We've got this person that's like standing up, and they're boisterous and they're strong and they're standing their ground and they've got things to say and they're holding their space. And then right next to it here is the Eight of Swords, where it's like, but I'm tied up and I'm you know, in chains in my own way. And it's like literally right next to each other, a very odd juxtaposition here. And so they're giving me this to kind of validate his presence here. And they again give me the same two cards that they were giving earlier before, where they're talking about when I crossed over, there was something new and this shift here. And so that's fortunate to hear then, if this is somebody that was kind of outwardly great and inwardly struggling a bit, then this is great news here, because I see this kind of like mental clarity now.
Oh, good.
Card that's coming up. So whatever was not clear before has in some way worked itself out now. It doesn't feel like it was a quick workout though. It feels like when he would have crossed over, he would have stayed a little bit fuzzy for a minute. And I don't know if that was because of the nature of his crossing, or if it was something else, or if it was the state he was in at his crossing. But it seems like there was a little fuzziness for a while, but there was like a sense of, it's okay, let's give his soul as much time as it needs to kind of heal and recoup and debrief what just happened. Let it kind of flow off and evaporate, so to speak. And so it's like he got that time that he needed, and it was a slow and gentle way. And so now he's just that Ace of Wands. And so it's like all of that energy that I was in this Wands card here that came up, I am that again in a new way, a different way. And I can be that without having those swords chain me in. And so instead of having this wands and this swords at the beginning, now we have this wands and this swords now. And these are brilliant changeovers here. And going from that 7 and 8 to the page and ace are also kind of like a simplifying down type of thing and a lightening up type of thing as well, taking off the heaviness of a high number and getting the lightness of a new number. And then the last card that I'm getting here for him is this Wheel of Fortune card, and it's in the upright position, which is beautiful because that's a great omen, a great sign, and a good luck charm. So it's almost like he's saying that in some way he's a bit of a good luck charm for you. And I'm not even sure exactly how that fits, except for like what he's given me, again, going back to the Robin Williams thing about the gift of making people smile and lightening a mood. And it's kind of like he's saying, if there's some memories and moments that it's like, if I'm in a funk and I think about that, it just makes me smile for a minute and it kind of pulls me out of that. There's something light or nice about that. And that Wheel of Fortune is kind of the turning of time and things moving on and things going on. And so it looks like he's a part of that. So if you were mentioning at the beginning that he's kind of been heavy on your mind lately, that would make sense, because it seems like he would be kind of in your presence some sort of a way often for us to get that Wheel of Fortune. And it could just mean that there's something within you that feels like you need that, and it's like, oh, I need that friendship back for right now or something. And so it does. I don't know exactly kind of why he seems to come in often, but it seems that he does.
Yeah.
So yeah.
was my nephew who killed himself a few years ago.
Ugh.
And he just wanted to help people, but then he got into debt and he got sick and he didn't know why, and nobody would give him money but me, and then he shot himself in the head.
Ugh. So
Yeah.
that would make sense of the whole confusion when he passed and things were a little bit fuzzy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the nature of that passing. I'm sorry for that. That's traumatic. Ugh.
It turned us into a Southern Gothic family.
Mm.
It's like, okay, so I do come from a tragic family. Okay, we are officially a tragic family. You know? All right, throw some cards about my mother.
Okay. I'm wondering if both parents are trying to show up here. Maybe. Okay. Was dad one of those that's kind of like, I guess, the quintessential like old school, I'm concerned about the finances and like being a provider, having finances together, stability or something along those lines. So okay.
That was it.
Okay.
That was how he was a dad, was just making sure we each had our own bedroom.
Okay.
That was as far as the dadhood went.
Okay, because they're starting out with that, with him in the reverse position, and they're not trying to be mean to him, and I don't think anything's wrong with him, but in that reverse position, it makes sense kind of what you're connecting with, where you're saying it's kind of as far as the fathering went, is that was the most important piece for him, and he had a hard time getting beyond that piece. And so here with that Four of Pentacles about money and control, and I was like, he seems like he's just very consumed by making sure that he did that part well to the degree that he lost some of the other pieces, but he it seemed like he thought that wasn't his place to do those pieces anyway, that's what mom is for, in his mind. So that's how he kind of rationalized it, is it's like, but this is my job and then she does her job kind of thing. And I see her presented here as the Empress, which is usually a woman who is depicted as pregnant on the card, and so it is a very like mothering energy, which would be like, yeah, I'm the one that's expected to be, barefoot and pregnant kind of thing, or expected to do all the stuff in the home and all of that kind of things. And she's in the upright position, which looks to be here that she did that as well as you could expect someone to do if they're trying to multitask and manage, several things kind of thing. So I do see that. And I see the Three of Cups here coming up as a celebratory type of card to say that you'll have some good times and good memories together, especially relative to mom, next to her card here. And with this, it's interesting. What's funny about this, I don't know the nature of your relationship with your mom, or if she would have said something like this to you, but how we were talking earlier about the marriage stuff, it's almost like she has an opinion on that, because I get the Strength card and then the Justice card here, which would be like the legalizing and the marriage and stuff like this. So it's almost like she would be pushing for that some kind of a way. I don't know if it's because it's like the old-timey values or something like that, but it's kind of like, okay, you're strong enough, just do it type of thing. So it's almost like we didn't ask her necessarily for her opinion on that, but it just kind of came out. So I don't know if that's typical for her or...
Oh, it's typical. It's like, I don't know that I asked you, but yeah, she had an opinion on everything.
Okay. Okay, well, she still has an opinion on everything, apparently.
She was against marriage. She's the reason none of her daughters are married. So it's
well,
really
apparently
interesting.
she's into it now.
I guess so.
She's into it now. She's changed her tune. I guess that makes sense that both of the previous men that we visited on here have kind of changed their tune about how they see things, and it seems like she's changing her tune about how she sees things, because she's got that in the upright position and she's got the Strength card next to it, which is like, you're strong enough, you can do it. And so it could be that she might understand that some of y'all's hesitancy as kids was because of her, and she might have some sort of, I don't know, guilt or feelings around, like, they need to know that I don't feel that way anymore, and to not let my earthly ideals continue to affect them in their lives. That's not how I feel. And in fact, next to it, I get that Ace of Swords, which is about a new mental clarity. So again, it could be that from my standpoint now, this new thought process that I have is separate, and I need to undo any damage that I unintentionally did by kind of pushing that type of agenda, so to speak, when I was earthbound. So it does seem like she's changed her tune on it.
Good.
Yep.
All right. That all makes sense. That makes sense.
Oh, good.
Right.
Good.
That's our time.
And glad that they were able to come through here so that we were able to kind of take a look at each of these for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I'm gonna get to give me some, but not all of his ambition, and because he understands now what the work-life balance should be.
Yeah.
Because everyone, when he died, everyone talked about his accomplishments, and I'm going, is anyone talking about how how they used to joke around the dinner table or anything? There's none of that. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry for those losses. Oof. It always feels unfair and untimely, no matter when and how and all of that kind of crap. It's just, ugh. Yeah.
Right. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a great weekend. I will
You
see
too.
you.
Big hugs to
Yes,
you.
big hugs. And maybe when we talk next year, I'll be married. Maybe we'll both be Sadie, married lady. We'll see.
Well, that'll be cool. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
All right. Thanks a lot, B.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Alrighty, y'all. There's an example. There's an example for anybody that sat there through this whole reading and listened to the example. Let's see. Is there a peach emoji? If there's a peach emoji, put the peach emoji in the comments below. If you've made it here all the way to the end, let's see some peach emojis here. Peach, as I call it because of Jenna Marbles. Peach. Put a peach below. And again, y'all, the Channelversary sale is going on now for anybody that wants 15% off any length of tarot reading or Reiki energy healing session. Or if you want to buy a gift certificate for a loved one or for yourself to use next year, then you can do that too, 15% off that as well. Thank you again to You Know Who You Are, anonymous person that allowed me to use the audio of your session here. Thank you to you for allowing me to use this as an example so that people can see what it's like to have these messages from spirit guides, messages from deceased loved ones, getting those kind of, accurate predictions and things like that, what that's like, how that flows in a reading or in a session, and how that really goes whenever we're doing this one-on-one privately. Thank you for allowing me to showcase that so that people can kind of see an example. So anywho, I hope that y'all are having a great holiday season. Probably staying busy, kind of like I am. But I look forward to coming at you soon with another video here shortly. And don't be a stranger. Come back and see me, and I will talk at you later. Bye.